To start with, I'd like to share that all our past Twitter Spaces are now available at Spotify, and our team has been good with extracting information from our Twitter Spaces, so they're also available in our Medium articles. No, and of course, it's very nice to have Bitpinas with us tonight. So very your best source of news, no, for anything in the Web3 space. Um, what we've had already, and today is actually our 11th Twitter Space na pala. No, since we started, we covered different topics from NFTs in Asia to riding the NFT wave, NFT collecting, communities, talking about communities and our projects. No, and we even had a session on with celebrities as guests. So for those that are new, I think most of the ones here are friends. Hi everyone. I'll make a call out later. Um, but for those that are new to the space, as you can see, it's a Scarlet Box. It's a red box. So the reason it's scarlet, because scarlet has a little bit naughty connotation because of scarlet letter. But why we like it is because art is taking a risk. Art is being naughty, and it's by pushing boundaries that art becomes beautiful and that art has changed over time. Otherwise, we would still have like Stone Age carving up to today. But it was because of the evolution of art and how it has um, became more risky, push boundaries. That's why we have what we have today, and that's why we have Scarlet Box and box signifying like a surprise or a gift. No, so that's why the name Scarlet Box, and we are here to bring the works of real blue chip artists, national artists, and other blue chip artists and their work and their lives into the Web3 space because it's our vision to bridge the generations to arts and culture. So exciting, and I'm excited for our spaces tonight. So again, stay till the end because we will have a special raffle for those who join the contest. Pwede pa? I think it's just just have to. There are certain simple mechanics. You can go to the pinned tweet at our in our account, and you can see the simple mechanics, and maybe you'll be able to win a Toy Emails watercolor Sari Manok by end of the evening. All right. So our topic tonight is NFT for mass adoption. So probably a lot of you know it here, but NFTs are like ID for digital assets. It's like title for land, title for insurance. And in the last 30 to 40 years, we could not put any form of ID to a digital asset. Parang it was not possible until today. So that is what NFTs are. No? So they're basically smart contracts that act like or that serve as digital proof of ownerships. And marami na siyang applications, not just art, no? In gaming, real estate, medical field, education, retail, ticketing, identity, consumer brands, etc. No? So maybe we'll be able to touch on some of them tonight. But before anything, I'd like to introduce our three special guests for tonight. So I'll start first with in the order of appearance as in our poster. So our first guest, he has had 11 years of expertise in the enterprise application industry. His name is Paul Soliman and is the first Microsoft MVP for business applications in the Philippines. No, or MVP, it's the most valued professional. So I'm curious about that. He's also the co-founder, CEO, CTO of Haptiv and Bayani Chain. He's the CTO of Raven Global Incorporated, founder of Biz Apps PH Community, co-founder of ASEAN's Miss Biz Apps UG Community. He serves as business and technology consultant for schools and other IT companies in Asia Pacific region. And he's now doing a lot with blockchain-based AI projects. So everyone, say hi to Paul. And Paul, say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep,
Hello.
yep, loud
All
and clear.
right.
Loud
Thanks,
and clear.
Sherry.
Yes, yes. Thanks so much for joining us. I mean, all of us will be able to learn a lot from Paul. And if you have any super technical question, you have the right person to ask tonight. So if you have like a super chain based question, he'll be able to give us some clarity on that. All right. Our next guest is the only Rose that we have for tonight. She is the country director of DynaQuest Technology Services, which is an award-winning provider of innovative blockchain solution. She is a certified blockchain expert and one of the pioneers in the IT BPO industry with 20 years of experience. She is an awardee for Philippine Empowered Men and Women 2022 and part of 100 most influential Filipino women on LinkedIn for 2021 and 2022. She advocates blockchain and women empowerment through her numerous local and international speaking engagements. She's also part of the roster of Powerful Women in Blockchain and Technology 2021. So welcome Gail Macapagal, and Gail, say hi to everyone.
Hi everyone, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, good, loud and clear. Good. So welcome Gail. I'm curious to hear your story as well. So we'll ask you that later.
Thank you for having me,
And
Cherie. Thank you.
you're welcome. And finally, we'll have Mark Kevin Nunez. I started calling him Kevin first, and then I heard everyone calling him Mark. So now I call him Mark, or maybe both. So he is the current head of partnerships for crypto in Gcash. Prior to joining Gcash, he spent 9 years with Unilever spearheading innovative projects, including the launch of the laundromat business for the company, and also recently led Unilever's B2B platform Tindahan Club, resulting to twice the revenue growth and stretching its user base to almost 200,000. Mark has been into trading cryptocurrencies and NFTs since 2019. So that's kind of like early in the Web3 world. I mean, there's still some OGs earlier than that, but 2019, that's pretty good. That's even before the pandemic. So welcome, Mark. You want to say hi to everyone?
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me today. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So welcome, Mark, and I'm curious to hear later on if you have any recent developments to share. We're all curious to hear, on your side. Okay, so before I start with questions, hi to everyone. Bitpinas, our favorite news outlet, Jer Bear, um, Kenzo Art, Maliksi, Ninong Jules, Sift, Andre, Mervin, Agatha, Balitang Crypto. Oh, another good new source of our news. Uh, Chino Azur, Allen, Jean, Ralph, Shifty, Sefi, Aaron, Malu, and Amand. Let me see if I can. So my first question is, maybe I'll start with going around. If all of you, maybe I'll start first with Paul, and then Gail, and then Mark. So how did you? Maybe my question is, all of us here, because blockchain and Web3 is very young. It's only a few years old. Maybe if you've gotten in during Bitcoin time, that was early, like 2011, 2011, 12. But very very few people were involved or were a part of the scene that time. So it was only in the last few years where more and more people came in, including me. No, so all of us really had a lot of our day-to-day jobs, which are non-Web3 or non-blockchain. So I'm curious, now maybe Paul, since you have the deepest experience, how did you get into the blockchain space? How did it start?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me? I'm good.
Yes, you're good.
All right. Sure. So, yeah, so I started my blockchain journey since I think 2016. We're doing Hyperledger. So it's a private blockchain, no? But since 2011, I was really like, in a way, having an interest about Bitcoin and other story, because coming from an open source culture, right, like fan of Linux, etc. So how like the Bitcoin or revolution started is something like that. It's really against the flow of the government, etc. So I got enticed, no, but to be honest, I'm not a fan of cryptocurrency before. But I really love blockchain. So when I got a chance to do it with IBM and Microsoft, testing other clients to do the same, how Bitcoin works in terms of the peer-to-peer transaction, the transparency of the ledger, the immutability. So we thought in the space, in the business application space, that this technology in 2015, 2016, it will stay. It will really stay. Since we know that blockchain is like a database, it's decentralized nga lang, no? But at the end of the day, yeah, so I was fascinated about the use cases and again the revolution around it, but I did not invest earlier. In fact, I'm too skeptic before to invest since again I'm not a finance guy, I'm a tech guy in general, so I don't really understand how stock market works, etc. So that's why I did not invest. But 2016, I know already the value. So that's why I doubled down already in terms of research and other things that we can do inside the blockchain.
Okay, so because you work with more traditional software companies now, like, or you were very involved with Microsoft, etc. So it was only your personal interest in Bitcoin and the decentralized properties of blockchain that made you self study to get into the space and found all these companies. Would that be?
Yes, that's correct. So I started being a technopreneur around 2018. So when I was when I was exploring blockchain, then I was employed. I'm in the corporate. It's also a Microsoft partner that does APAC projects, and we're testing a lot. Meaning, even me, personal time, I do like doing backup of file using Hyperledger, exploring how to connect that into an ERP system or accounting system. So those are like the use cases that I did. But my experience, let's say for example, I started my career in Starbucks Philippines. So my last project there was loyalty card. So before I left around 2014, I was the one who's doing the lead implementation for the internal IT for the Starbucks card and also some of the coding stuff there. So that's why I'm super exposed in reward system, etc. And it gives me in a way it's a precursor of what we're doing now in the NFT space.
Galing. So parang all the loyalty cards that we are all using now as Starbucks clients came from you pala, no? So that's good
Uh,
to know.
yes, I'm part of the one who built it.
Thank you,
Kasi we're
Paul.
I'm yep. But that's not really an idea, like an idea, no, because I mean we're too late. Like I think Malaysia or Hong Kong were the first one to implement those digital Starbucks card, and Philippines just followed. So we have a playbook already on how to do it, but the infrastructure and the system that Rustan Coffee, the franchisee of Starbucks, yan, that specific activity, doon ako involved on creating that. And also, of course, launching that in 2014, I think, or 2013, yeah.
Nice, nice. Because it was very successful, no? It's a very successful initiative of Starbucks.
Yeah, and it's very profitable.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Para siyang naging flywheel, no?
Yep.
Okay, thanks a lot, Paul. Gail, how about you? How did you get into the blockchain space? Parang
Okay.
what was the, yeah, where did that come from? Because you were, and maybe tell us more about your work with DynaQuest or even a little bit before that.
Okay, so DynaQuest. I was working with DynaQuest at that time. I was on my second year, 2017. We got a client. So is a traditional IT and BPO company, and then in 2017 we got a client for the client is called London Football Exchange, and they were launching their ICO at that time. And so when my boss was talking about London Football Exchange, blockchain, at first I wasn't listening or I wasn't very interested because I hear a lot of jargons, words that were really not familiar with me. And so later on, because of all the meetings and my involvement in the operations of London Football Exchange, I eventually got immersed and eventually took up a certified blockchain expert course under the Blockchain Council. So, for everyone's information, London Football Exchange is the world's first ever football club stock exchange that will allow fans, traders, and investors to acquire shares in their favorite football clubs globally. So we started with like doing the KYC for those that were interested to buy. We were the help desk for all their questions and concerns. So that started in 2017. And it started because of work, because they were our client, and I had no choice but to really learn. And eventually, I came to love it. And now I'm a staunch advocate of women in the blockchain and Web3 space, and I am also an advocate of women empowerment. So what started out as a work thing also became my passion. So that's my story, usually.
Nice. Thank you for that. And the women you started Women in Blockchain. When did you start Women in Blockchain?
I started Women in Blockchain in 2018. A funny story is
Okay.
that I couldn't even get 10 women to join me for the women in blockchain for women in blockchain. And now I think and you know my shortcoming there is that I really have not established a firm women in blockchain Philippines group. But I promise that this year I'll start doing social media and really start gathering all the women. And but probably because of on February 4th the blockchain council of the Philippines will start having our planning session. I could start being more active and engaging the women in the Philippines, because now I'm sure there are more than 10 women, or I let's say, I'm guessing, and it's an estimate, I could probably come up with around 500 women in blockchain. Do you agree, Cherie?
Wow, that's great. And even starting Women in Blockchain 2018, again, that's really early, that's really a very early initiative. So when did the London Football Exchange, when was the ICO of that? Was it
So they
2017,
came to
or when was the
us. They
ICO?
came to us in January. I'm sorry. They came to us in 2017, and the starting date of London Football Exchange was January 15, 2018, and they ended in August 6,
Mhm.
2018, and they raised 71.3 million US dollars in their ICO.
Wow, that's amazing because very during the ICO days after that there were some that are very successful, some companies that are successful, but many flopped, no? Or
Correct.
many raised money, and and after they raised money they just disappeared, no? Meron din, no? So that's why there was a dissipation after that, but it's great that they're able to raise money and be able to create a lot of activity. All right, that's interesting. I didn't know that about you, Gail. So that's great. I'm learning more and more from you guys. All right. Next is Mark. So Mark has a very good experience with FMCG, and I'm curious as to how, because I think it might have been your personal interest on how you got into crypto blockchain. So please share with us your experience and how you're in this space now.
Yep. Thank you, Sherry. I think from my end, I represent the maybe the typical Web2 user because I don't know anything about hyperledgers. But for me, my journey started by exploring the app of coins, coins.ph. So I purchased my first Bitcoin, I think back in 2017, remembering it going in front of 7-Eleven, in front of the office to top up. And I think the technology also got me more interested about the blockchain. And I actually started a project in Unilever. So we had this automated dispensers in laundromats and took inspiration from blockchain technology to be able to track the containers. because it's very important for you to track and know where the container is in the middle of the supply chain to make sure you're able to maximize your containers and prevent plastic waste. And initially plan to record these carbon credits that you're able to save from preventing these sachets. So that was one of my other pet projects in Unilever before going to Gcash. And I think what got me moving forward to go through my Web3 journey is the benefits that I've experienced as well. Doing my small amount DCAs, and it was during when I lost my dad during the pandemic, and I think my many investments in crypto was able to help my family, and that's why I wanted to be in a position to increase help adoption on not really on board users, but tell them how crypto has benefited my my family, my life, and yeah, something to really I set that as my mission currently. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mark. It's very interesting, and I like the positivity that you lend to the space now, which is how crypto has helped your family. Because with the current, with what happened recently, most especially, I think US is the most impacted, no, with FTX and Luna and Terra. So you hear sometimes the negativity around this space, but then again, for many people it has also helped their families, no, and especially a lot of the guilds, the axis, and also now for at least for you. So that's very good to hear. And for me, I'm happy to hear that you also have like sort of your mission, and how to spread the word, because sometimes it's a mission that makes us do it even during difficult times, or with non-believers, but because we have a mission, then we kind of barrage on and move forward. So it's good to hear that. No, I didn't know also that background story of yours. um so, well, back to you. I'm curious, no, how does one become an MVP of Microsoft? Like, what did you do to deserve that? Like,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
sure. Yeah, so MVP is an award. It's a yearly award. So if you don't work and then it's gone. So yeah, so MVP is being graded if you contribute a lot in terms of community building. So there was no business applications community for Microsoft here in the Philippines. Or well, of course, product as low code to no code technology, the ERPs, the CRMs, etc. So I was the first one who built the community since people are, I mean, businesses are, IT businesses are very territorial, no, in terms of setting up a community because, of course, customers, they don't want you to, like, exchange information about customers, and also like getting employees from another company that has the same uh, things that na ginagawa nila. So MVP, you need to be nominated by someone from by an MVP, and also by a Microsoft employee. Of course, checking everything like how many user group do you have, or how many people you have in your user group, and you're doing events in a year. How many events did you do in a year? How impactful is that, etc. So it's really community building, and of course expertise. So usually we're the yung mga, if you're familiar with Stack Overflow and other tech community, we're the ones who's answering some of the problems that they encounter, and yeah, and we help the developers and also the business users if they have problem to na pwede i-troubleshoot. So they grade that, then after that you will be awarded. So if you don't contribute anymore, then mawawala yung award mo as MVP. So you need to contribute every year.
Okay. So, and then I believe you're the first MVP of the Philippines, no? Is that right?
I was the first MVP for my category, which is business applications. So there are like Filipino MVPs already na mga nauna sa akin, but they're more of on the madami kasi yan na category like Azure or database, etc. So in my category, I was the first Filipino in the Philippines that was became an MVP.
Nice. So working with Microsoft and being very involved, and it's interesting. I didn't know that part of the criteria pala also is community building, no? So that's
Yep.
interesting. I thought it was just maybe more product focused. So now that you're doing many other things, being an entrepreneur, what do you prefer better? Like Microsoft, you had a big company behind you, and there's already a market. You're also doing a lot of significant game changing things, but now you're also doing it, in a different way. So, what are the major differences, or if you have any like preference?
Yeah. Sure. They always ask me question, 'di ba? Parang how can you handle too many things that that in different like industry or direction. So my answer is very simple. I'm not doing anything outside tech. The reason why I chose Microsoft, it's because since I started again in Starbucks, that's the specialization that I did already, right? I mean, it became my passion. Uh, and then you're in that pond already, meaning you're in that highway that not naman know everything, but you excel on that because you're still learning, etc. But all of my skills when I started my career, it's all specialization in Microsoft technology. Now, I also explore other like open source and let's say Oracle or SAP, and now public blockchain like Ethereum and Polygon. For me, it doesn't have a difference in terms of how do you like build your product or do your business model since it's tech. The challenge now is really how you scale or how to find right people to partner with you in executing your vision. But as uh, mentioned by Mark a while ago, like in terms of cryptocurrency, like Web2 people investing to that, etc. So in a way, if you will see that specific problem, the friction problem that I always pitch and I always tell to my customers or even students, because we have a HackU in Hacktiv, we have an academy that teaches tech in fresh grads and also senior high school. So it's really solving the friction. Medyo like Mark, it's very special that he deep dove in like in Bitcoin too early. But even right now, there's a lot of people that don't understand the power of blockchain and how it can transform lives and also the industry. So, but the tech, it's for me 10%. So I have a principle: people, process, technology. Right? It's always nowadays because of how tech evolves. AI, quantum, etc., and even blockchain. It's easy today to create a product on top of a tech, right? The hardest part now is really getting people to be involved and also to educate. But yeah, for me, there's no difference since I'm a tech guy already since day one. So I just replicate the processes and improve it.
Interesting. So would you say that you have very deep engagement and use case of all the different, let's say, languages. So would you say they're more similar? Like, let's say, Solidity of Ethereum is, would you think, similar? It's just a different language, let's say Java or Python. I mean, would you see some similarities and it's just a different language, or are there fundamental differences between blockchains and the other previous languages that have been used?
Uh, it's more of like for me, just adding. So technically, blockchain for me, this is my opinion, still a database, right? So again, without knowing, I can categorize like let's say JavaScript, Python, etc. These are like a Web 2 uh, framework or programming language, you cannot be really good in terms of creating a contract, even Solidity or Rust or whatever, if you did not learn how to go with JavaScript, very fundamental, like creating your object, etc. Object oriented programming in Python, something like that, scripting, what framework to use, etc. Doing MVC, the crude. When I say crude, create, read, update, delete, edit, etc. So those are like the fundamentals that you need to understand. Since writing in blockchain, it's like that. So you just need to understand the how to deal with smart contract in terms of writing inside blockchain, because the I mean, in database, you can still alter or update a transaction. In blockchain, that's why it's immutable. You cannot do any more. You can amend, but at the end of the day, it's still another entry to that. Sorry for like being technical, but for me, you still need to study the Web 2 languages, if I may use that word to categorize that. And going to Solidity, Rust, or something, if you have a fundamentals already, then you can go to that. And with the advent of low code, no code, AI disrupting coding sequence, it's more of like really learning how to implement your code and not deep diving too much on the technicalities of that. We tested ChatGPT. I had a hackathon like 2 days ago, tested ChatGPT. My developers can still defeat ChatGPT because ChatGPT can only, write a contract, but it cannot implement it, right? So still, you need the developer to implement a specific contract coming from the ChatGPT. So something like that. So the fundamentals and implementations are very important if even in Web 2 and Web 3 development space.
That's good. No, that's good to know. And especially for a lot of people that in the tech world who are more immersed in Web 2, it will give them more comfort that having this background will make it an easier jump, not to Web 3 with having fundamentals. So yeah, thanks for that. And it's a very very good technical clarity that Paul gave us. No? All right. So Gail, I know you started as a maybe tell us a little bit. You started as a call center agent, and you are successful where you are now. No, maybe tell us a little bit more what you think made you or help you go through the ranks, and also what now that you're here with Women in Blockchain, um, and being more active in it, how do you plan to also inspire other women?
Yeah. Okay. So you're correct, Sherry. I started out as a call center agent around 20 years ago. Um, I was just very eager to jump up or climb the ranks. So what I would do, and I do not advise everyone to do this, is that so when I started out as an agent, I got promoted until team leader in my first company. And then after that, I jumped from one company to another. For example, after I became a team leader, I moved to another company to become a shift manager. And then I moved to another company to become an operations manager. I moved to another company to become a senior human resource manager. And then moved to another company to become a client services director. So for me, it was just like really getting the experience. And then when I know that I'm ready, I move on to another company so that I can try to be in another position. And all my experiences from operations to HR to client services made me the country director of DynaQuest. So I think that what you need to do and what you need to have really is the strong determination and the motivation to just try and do your best in everything that you do. So, for now, I just would like also to share to everyone that recently, last November 8th, 2022, I was part of the YREX winner of 2022 Rising Women in Crypto Power List. I want to share this to everyone because they have been running for 3 years already. Um, and in 2022, I was part of the 232 nominees. Out of the 232 nominees around the world, I was the only Filipina to ever enter, to ever win, and be part of the 13 women that were announced to be the winner of the 2022 Rising Women in Crypto Power List. So I guess when you have the drive, the motivation, and the passion, and of course, I'm not young anymore, so I think with age comes a little bit of um, with age comes wisdom. So I guess that all the years of hard work has finally come through, and also you have mentioned earlier that I was part of the or I yeah I was part of the 2021 100 most influential Filipino women on LinkedIn. And so I guess really, and what I would like to share to all the women is that you really just have to be motivated, do your best, and eventually your passion will shine through, and you will get to where you want to be eventually.
Wow, congratulations, no? And I think you can see parang, all of us can see parang your grit not to do that, not to be able to rise up and, to be able to try to gather people together, no, and be an influence, not to be able to have a parang positive initiative, no, in what you believe in. And yeah, it's not easy what you did. I know you said you might not want to recommend that, no, but that's a very, it's a hustler attitude.
Yeah.
Oo. And wala eh, parang in Web3, parang you'll really realize it's really a hustle culture, no? It's maybe because it's still at its infancy stage, maybe
Right.
later on not so much, but right now it's kind of like that. So
And
it's nice to see that you embody that.
thank
Yeah,
you.
go ahead,
Sherry,
Jill.
one more thing. I'm trying to work with the ICT to actually come up with a book um, for the 100 women in tech in the Philippines. Why am I doing this? There's always two reasons. Number one is that, of course, I want to promote women empowerment. And number two, I want to break the stereotype that only male, the I want to break the stereotype that it's a male dominated world when it comes to information technology, when it comes to tech. So hopefully, it will come through. I talked to the ASEC for Gender and Development for the ICT. They're very excited. Yusek Giselle is also very excited about it because she's a staunch advocate also of women empowerment. So hopefully, Cherie, may I invite you to be part of that book?
Oh my gosh, it'll be an honor. So, oh, thank you so much for considering. Yeah, wow, what an honor. But yeah, good luck, and I think that's it's a good initiative. I think the Philippines were one of the you know very active in the space, especially with Axie Infinity and very fast adoption during the COVID. So, it will be nice to kind of have to be one of the people ahead in our region, no? And it's great that you're you have that purpose, no? So we'll support you. We'll be there to support you.
Thank you very much.
um yes. And Mark, you mentioned that one of your mission, which I really love, no, is to try to spread the word, and with crypto, and because it has helped your personally, it has helped you and your family, so let's say now with Gcash, what are your, I mean, how do you plan to do it, or in what ways do you think you can do it?
Mhm. Yep. So currently, I think the biggest job to be done is really on education, because I'm not sure if the people, for sure, the people in this call can relate. There's no really a single source of truth, or where you can learn all of the things you need to understand Web3 or crypto. You need to do your DOR, do your own research. And I think in my position right now, I think I'm blessed to be in a position to be able to do this, to be able to do this with Gcash. And at the same time, for sure, you guys know the pain point of trying to teach your friends, your relatives, especially during the pandemic, to invest in their first crypto. Sometimes you need to hop into a Zoom call to be able to onboard them. And I plan to, with the help of my team, to be able to solve that eventually, maybe by offering a simpler or an easy way to be able to start their crypto journey. And at the same time, currently I'm very happy to learn more about the different companies that I'm working with right now in Gcash, and I think one of the companies I'm working with is ScarletBox, and also learning about the different technologies and who benefits from these technologies. And so far, what I have my eyes on is to really help aspiring or our current artists as well. So maybe making somewhere in the lines around NFTs. But we'll reveal some of the plans soon. But really focused on just around the lines of education and trying to build utility to highlight the technology behind crypto rather than the price or the investment, because I think it's something similar. For example, there are Web 2 companies like Meta. In terms of business or company wise, they're doing, I think they're doing fine, but versus their stock price, I think that's a different story. So I think it's the same thing right now for crypto. A lot of people are building, and what I want to do is to identify these companies that are building and help translate it and look for a market for these companies. Yep.
Okay. Wow. Thanks. No, thanks for that. No, it's being a very a good bridge. No, and I'm curious. Let's say you want to spread education. No, about the technology and what it can do to, you know, to improve the lives of people, or at least show what it can do to whether to companies or to different sectors of society. How do you plan to do the education? I mean, by social media, by advertising, or partnering with different groups that give because we also have education. I mean, people in the text in the blockchain space that have education, like Bitsquela, etc. So how do you plan to spread the word of education, let's say in the eyes of Gcash? I mean, how will you execute it?
Mhm. So coming soon. So we're already trying to prepare these materials, these resources for potential consumers, and we're tapping into different what do you call it? Tapping to different partners who can help provide as well the materials that we need. We also have expertise within Gcash to create these materials. But another thing that we've done in the past year, as you know, we participated in the Philippine Web3 Festival, where we were also part of the Philippine Blockchain Week. So as much as possible, we try to also be on the ground, hear hear what the community wants, or hear what the community needs by being present. That's what we're currently doing. But so far, I can't reveal any that much of our plans for now. But what I want to maybe mention to the users is just we'll keep you guys posted on our upcoming plans. But it's gonna be very special. I think some people from this call also know um, the big picture, what we plan to achieve as well in Gcash. Yep.
Okay, nice. Nako, super exciting. And it's very good that because sometimes a lot of the corporations, no, especially in the web 2 or non-web 3, they're not, they might not spend a lot of effort or time in education, no? And I'm glad to hear that, because if you think about it, there's a much bigger market that are not in the Web3 space. No, so if we are able to educate them and show them what it can do and how it can help either businesses or individuals or artists, or or different kinds of of professionals in the space, that will be a good mission, no? Kasi talaga it's a much bigger market, no, na hindi nakakaalam sa, a lot of right now parang most people that I meet, parang they just look at you when you tell them about blockchain. Most of the time, the people that I meet, parang they have this blank face, no? But slowly, little by little, then I'm meeting more and more na that kind of are curious. Some understand it, but there's still a big part, no, that needs education. So that's good to hear.
Shiri,
Yep.
Um,
And
Shiri and
yeah,
Mark, if,
go
if
ahead,
I
Jill.
may interject,
Yeah,
no, while we are
yeah.
at the topic of education, I would just like to announce, but I cannot divulge yet. There is already this company, or the sorry, not company. There is already this university that has been approved by CHED for a 4-year course of Bachelor of Science in Blockchain Education, and our company DynaQuest is their partner in developing the curriculum and doing all the uh, back end for it to launch soon. So, Mark, maybe we can partner for whatever you have in your education part, but also because let's target it from the grassroots and let's have a 4-year course, diba? So that people that are interested in Web3 and blockchain can already enroll, even for the future uh, for the future. So this course, I think, will be very helpful in terms of the education and the mass adoption that we are all craving and clamoring for. So it's a good thing that the CHED already recognized that there should be or that there is a need to have this Bachelor of Science in Blockchain Technology. Yun lang po. Thank you.
Wow,
yes, Gail.
that's
Yep. Let's connect after, but something we can discuss. Yeah. Thank you.
okay, great, great, nice connection made. But that's exciting, no? Because sometimes a lot of the our blockchain developers may pagka sariling sikap. There are already certain learning opportunities, but it's still not yet by traditional universities, no? So that's good to hear that that they're already because if you enter traditional universities, then it enters the mainstream conscience of people.
That's right.
No, so that will be better. Kasi right now, parang it seems like it's kind of like an indie, parang select people, and it's not so easy to access. No, but once we do that, then it'll be for mass adoption na talaga, no? Which is kind of like our topic today, no,
That's
on how
right.
to uh, create a mass adoption. Okay. So I circle back to Paul. No? But before I get back to this question on Paul, I just like to we've been close to an hour on this space, and I'd just like to refresh the space. I'd like to thank everyone who's here. We're talking about NFTs for mass adoption, and what we've done is we've learned about the lives and the experience of our three speakers and how they got into the blockchain space and in their own missions, whether it's spreading the word in education or community or technology, and how we plan to and how we'd love to know how best to have a, a better adoption, no, for the public, because right now it's at its infancy stage, and it's at the very early stage. So not many people are still confused. They get, well, sometimes they get scared when they say crypto because of what's been happening, or they're not so sure, especially NFTs. No, it's a very, I think if they called it digital proof of ownership, it's so easy to understand. They made it NFTs so difficult to understand. So parang that adds to a little bit complication of jumping in. No, so I think the discussions tonight would love to hear on ideas, no, and already certain advancement in this area. So just refreshing the space, and I hope you guys are learning a lot. Ako, I'm learning a lot from tonight, no? So I hope the same way for you guys. So Paul, my question is, I know Paul has been very involved in, he's kind of like a consultant already of even government, corporations, NGOs, etc. No, so if I were to ask you, what do you think is the best case for mass adoption, let's say of NFTs or blockchain, that you can see na parang um, can touch the lives of many people. Because once in a while when we are, when I chatted with you, you're mentioning, some consultations with government. I don't know if you think that's the best way to reach a wider set of people, or are there other ways? We'd love to hear what you think.
Sure, sure. I've been discussing some use cases for the government. I've done one with Comelec, and I think now with DepEd, we're trying to explore some things, and I will be having a meeting with BSP, but let's see, right? So for me, the easy yes use cases, if you go to NFT, if you will read the abstract of EIP 721, which is now ERC 721, I always mention this. It's really having a true digital asset, right? It can be backed by a physical asset, etc. So what's holding us back is really policy implementation and creating new policies, even in crypto, use cases. I think maybe in November we had a Bull and Bear, which was hosted by in the Web3 PH Summit and hosted by Bitsquela with Mark. Uh, those are the questions, right? But I mean, legal tender, etc. So those questions are revolving in the policy and also taxation and also infrastructure on how we want this to further to really go into mass adoption. In like let's say Bayani Chain, our thinking is really like um, do how we do the mass adoption is thinking of like really killing the friction. We can we can like list a lot of use cases like what we have in our words, like for loyalty, our rewards. We have for like land titles, etc. But the most common problem is really how you onboard non-Web3 user in terms of, let's say, if I will segmentize that on a middle class perspective, like, sorry, I'm just using the term for you to imagine where I'm coming from, but I don't mean anything. All right. So let's say a specific, let's say a sales lady in a department store wants to go in and they don't know about NFT, they don't know about crypto, they don't know about blockchain, but we're fighting for, like, as people in the space, right? We want to really do the mass adoption, we want to onboard these people, etc. But we cannot do that because of three reasons. Number one, the friction is still there. It's hard to create. It's hard to understand. But there are technologies already that you can use for you to be able to onboard users by just creating a Web2 kind of authentication, mobile number, Gmail, Facebook, Twitter access without really like creating your MetaMask and have to keep your 12 words or passphrase. But that's not it. It means like if I go to sales lady, how can I onboard the sales lady in terms of what's really the value? If I ever remove the friction, then what's the value of having an NFT of 7-Eleven or maybe Family Mart on this specific sales lady? So sorry, that's the number two. That's the value. What value should I give? Number three is really education. So friction, value, and education. 100,000 years ago, in a cognitive revolution as human, it's funny that as Homo sapiens, diba, parang we're the one who really dominated the world. It's because we know how to communicate well. We call it chismis, we call that gossip now. How Mark is saying and how Miss Gail is saying that about giving them easier access by educating. I think more deeper way of educating them, but not really doing some technical stuff or like just, for example, games, something like that. So those three aspect of really going to mass adoption in general in the space, we really need to think of it. for me, I don't think the use case first. Parang I just want to resolve those barriers. Then I introduce the use cases. To be honest, in Comelec, so this is what we have discussed. So technically, you have the PCOS machine, then you have the let's say we want to change the transparency server to blockchain already. Our problem with that is not really the technology and the use case of like writing our vote into a public blockchain, into a private blockchain. It's solving first the very issue of a systematic cheating on the ground, like these people are gonna be doing vote buying, etc. Yes, blockchain can solve that, but if we don't solve the if we don't find a problem on doing that systematic on solving that systematic issue of like vote buying, etc., then I think we're diluting the possibility of using let's say an NFT issue. Let's say I voted and I have my NFT that says that I voted, then it will go to blockchain. So we will be diluting those kind of use cases and idea if we don't solve really the ground roots problem. So yeah.
I'm sorry, Paul, can I also interject? So I know and I've seen that you already talked to Comelec. So in 2019, we already talked to Comelec and some of the government people. Umabot na nga sa presidente. But we were told at that time, we already showed them a prototype of blockchain and how you can use it for our elections and how Comelec can use it for transparency and immutability. And you know what we were told at that time? We were told that not in this lifetime, it's not gonna happen. So when I saw that you did this, I actually went to Comelec and I said, wow, very good, because more and more people can come to them and give them a compelling reason to actually just do this on blockchain, because it will be easier, and then we will have the transparency that we want in terms of no more vote buying, etc., etc. So thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for the follow through. And
Mhm.
sometimes we just really need to come together, and that's why maybe Paul and Sherry, it's fortunate that we are part of the Philippine Blockchain Council, so that we can actually start giving the government compelling reason to use blockchain. And then eventually that will lead to mass adoption, hopefully.
Okay, yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Gail. No, but it's true what Paul said. No, parang maybe the government, or as what I gleaned earlier, parang the government use case is probably one of the fastest way for mass adoption. No, because it's something that but as you said, no, it's important the policy implementation. If it's not there, it probably won't be executed. But that's probably one of the fastest way, no, to parang kind of force adapt, force people to adapt. and and I also agree with what you say about like having them learn the value, no. And it interesting nga parang I had a chat with Andre Baldovino, and we were talking about, let's say, art NFT being sold in, let's say, in like in gallery, because we had just joined Savior Fest, no. And he was mentioning, if your sales team, because it's, you have to sell art, it takes skill. But if your sales team, or if your people can sell art and NFT art, then that will be, a higher skill level, no. So parang it's another friction that needs to be lessened, would be understanding the value,
Mm.
so that people can easily explain it and easily
Right.
use it, diba?
Mm-hmm. Actually, sorry, just to like add few more things. No? So, of course, Mark is here now. So, when I was in Starbucks, it's around 2013. We're trying to really I think Starbucks is one of the earlier adapter of Gcash. So I have my BlackBerry, and there's no QR code yet that time. Of course, there's a technology, but Gcash is not using that. We're doing memory card, no? That memory card has an RFID. Then you will scan that. Then you'll get a text that you bought the Frappuccino already, or how much is your balance. And it takes time because I'm following Gcash for a while now, and it's not an easy journey. Also, I mean, pandemic hits. When pandemic happened, according to study, we got a lot of parang in when lockdown was started March to April, we got 2 million worth of digital transformation data for just 2 months. That's 2 years worth of digital transformation data, no? And I can say that pandemic helped to accelerate the technology, but it's more of like people now are like saying na okay, parang this technology pala will help if there's pandemic or something. So the mass adoption for me, it's not gonna be super fast. It's gonna take time, but again, without the policy and implementation of new law, then I think we're gonna far from like the mass adoption. I'm not talking about Axie. I'm not talking about gaming. It's really more in real life adoption of this blockchain technology use cases, NFTs, crypto. There is a new one that consumable things happening on the blockchain already, like a normal database, etc.
No, no, I agree with you. No, sometimes if it's like a forced adoption, especially if there's government, instruction to do it, then mas mabilis siya talaga. Mark, Mark? There's a message for you. Can you just check it? I think not sure if it's in Twitter or Telegram. If you can answer the message. Um, so for 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 Mark, no, so for Gail, you think that how about for you? What is for you the best case of mass adoption for NFTs? Let's say, no, Paul mentioned like government, being able to use it for um, either ID or voting. How about for you? Do you see any best case for mass adoption for NFTs?
No, I would say the same. Should you government really should start so that we can. I was about to answer the gaming because it really did a lot. It helped so that we are around 32% of the people surveyed own NFTs. So Philippines is 32% and 9.5% are planning to buy. So and also the games, but really if people see that the government is slowly adapting it, then I think that it will start there. I was invited also to be part of the DTI, Bureau of Philippine Standards, for the development of Philippine national standards on blockchain. So I know that there are a lot of government agencies that are siloed. For example, there's I heard that there's a BSP group that wants to also look at regulation. There's a Senate inquiry that wanted to do that also, and then there's DTI who wants to have a development of Philippine national standards in blockchain. I think if they just talk to each other and then come up with one major project or one major um, law regulating body. That could be BSP. I don't know what, but if we all do that, we all come together, and when we invite the members of the Web3 Council and the Philippine Blockchain Council, maybe that will elevate us into. We're already number one in terms of NFT, but it could it with the government suggestion that I have. If that happens, then that would elevate us to close to mass adoption, especially now that we see that education is abound. And then there's this university that's going to start it. Paul has already started talking with DepEd. And when we manage this from the grassroots level, moving up, then there is hope. And it's not today or tomorrow or in the next year, but I believe that it's coming soon.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Gail. No. Um. So next naman, I'd like to ask Mark. No, Mark. After I have a question for you, Mark, and then later on we have a special announcement. No, Mark, for you, what would be for you naman? No, being in the consumer space. No, what would be the biggest best case no for NFT for mass adoption? Let's say Paul and Gail both said government might be the best case, no. But let's say government aside, how about for you, no? Being in the corporate consumer brands, what do you think would be the best case?
For me, I think Paul and Gil were able to touch on this already. But me, I strongly, on my personal opinions, really first try to solve the friction as much as possible. Maybe just lessening the steps towards owning your first NFT or crypto. And second, in the interim, aside from just education, I think one of my pain points as well. I think I've lost I've lost money rin in this space. Really to educate the people how to avoid scams, getting harmed, because I think a lot of bad news or bad players were experienced during the past year. And as much as possible, it will be difficult to spot these players. But if we continue to educate and remind everyone on how to safely participate in this space, I think it would result to good word of mouth, which in turn will help people become evangelists that will help spread the adoption. You'll see people, if they had a good experience, if they were able to earn a very good NFT, I believe they'll be the ambassadors to spread the word around. And I think at least to be able to contribute in that sense will be already be a big help in this space.
No, that's true, no? To parang to lessen the friction. Actually, that's the common everyone you talk to, that's the first thing they say na parang, oh my gosh, to be in this space, you have to create a wallet and ganyan. And so that the drop off is very fast, no? And if we all come together to help solve the friction, we can onboard, no, much more people and let them discover a lot of the things, no? But exciting thing to share with you guys that Larry Alcala is also going to be working with, is going to be part, and Gcash is going to be part of Larry Alcala's entry into the metaverse. So that's exciting stuff. So we started first with Gcash. We have a special internal sale for Gcash team members and Globe team members. And I don't know, what do you think, Mark?
Mhm. Yep. Thank you again, Sherry, for letting us be part of of Larry Alcal's NFT drop. So yeah, we're currently working with the ScarletBox team, trying to learn as well how to best solve these issues in terms of adoption, trying to get their first NFT. So right now we're in this phase, but eventually there will be big plans. So just please stay tuned. Um, we'll be sharing more of these details soon. But yeah, we're happy to work with Scarlet Box as well, to be able to launch or highlight these Blary Algala NFTs. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's super exciting, no? Kasi, one of our missions is to, bridge the generations through arts and culture. And Larry Alcala's work is really so iconic, during the 80s and 90s, no, and maybe early parts of 2000. But a lot of the younger people don't know about his work already, especially the Gen Zs, no? And this is one way to tell the story. And there's so many characters that it'll be so fun to collect, no? Different people who like basketball, who like ice cream, who are couch potatoes, who are titas and lolas and young kids. So there's so many different characters, and these characters are extracted from slice of life. So nakakatuwa siya. So we're excited for, to work with Gcash in, hopefully bridging art, and bridging the generations through arts, and also at the same time bridging Web 3, no, to a lot of the, Web 1, Web 2, no, and how we can make them appreciate both the art that's from different generations and the technology also to be able to share it. So we're really excited for that. So
And
stay
also
tuned. Yeah.
sharing to add, I think this is a very good initiative, or what Scarlet Box is working on, because I think that's another way to add utility to NFTs by making sure it's backed up by very credible, and in this case it's a national Larry is a national artist, So I think it's a very good NFT or first NFT for anyone to purchase or to cop. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's no, and we have it'll be special because we'll also have physical exclusive collectibles or merchandise, no, that comes with a digital collectible. So super fun to collect, and as Mark mentioned, one thing that's amazing about our national treasures or our national artists, no, they are a good enabler to have people, maybe it may be the first NFT they'll collect, and it's probably going to hold its value just because of the reputation and the work and the historical significance, no, that a lot of these national artists have contributed to our culture. So yeah, so I'm really honored to be able to be part of this. Okay, so now I have a question naman, maybe on your experiences, no, maybe with Paul. So let's say you've gone through a very wide experience base, no. What would you say? What's a mistake that you learned from? Maybe two prong. What's a mistake that you learned from, and what are you most proud of in what you have achieved or what you have gone through? I'll ask that
Uh,
for all of you. Say, go ahead, Paul.
yeah, in general to, no? It's not.
Ikaw, any, pwede in general, specific, ikaw bahala.
Yeah, I think it's more of siguro my failures. I didn't start early. Uh, when it comes to like being an entrepreneur or a technopreneur. Well, that, that's my regret. But on a good side of it, I learned a lot in terms of processes, in terms of industries, in terms of corporate structure. That's why when we're creating a company like for Bayani Chain, we're not like a startup that doesn't have a structure. Since I experienced that already in a corporate manner, like let's say in my previous employment, and also let's say in Microsoft in totality. Saka we implement ERP systems and we really put structure to businesses. That's a good side of it. But siguro I miss out some technological evolution of web to like the Mark Zuckerberg era of social media, etc. I should have already siguro I was maybe 15, 16 years old that time. When I before I started working Starbucks, I dropped out already since though I have a diploma kasi they let me get that, but yeah, siguro those are my like failure that I didn't know I did not start like Jello, di ba? Who's my co-founder in Bayani Chain Likha and Harvards, and I think Vandy is here, L, Suvox, no. So my co-founders parang I should have start earlier like Jello. Yun lang. But again, the good side of it, I became matured in terms of management and also product development and what tech to use, etc. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. Pero parang to me, it looked like mas maraming success. And I think, parang just if you describe lang what you've done, parang, yeah, it's amazing. So it seemed like to me like peppered with more success. How about for you, Gail? What would be, something that maybe a mistake that, you've learned from, and what would be something that you're most proud of?
Okay. So, this is not a mistake, and this is something that I want to share every time. So, my eldest son was 2 years old when he died. And at that time, when before, previous to that, when I hear the word life is short or the phrase life is short, I could not really understand that. But when I lost my son when he was 2 years old, that's when I learned that you have to wake up every day and live as it's your last day. So really, you would really barely catch me in a bad mood. You will barely catch me griping or whining, because each and every day of my life, I try to make sure that I make the most out of it, and that I am happy, and that if it were my last day, then I know that I would have died very happy. So that's my in general saddest regret that I have. And what am I proud of? Actually, I think that I am proud of the fact that um, we were very, very poor, really, previously when I was younger. And that it was my motivation to work hard, to hustle, as you have mentioned, Shiri, to work hard and to hustle, to learn everything, to read on what I can read, to really enjoy life, and to make poverty my motivation to be what I am right now. So I'm very happy that, I founded Women in Blockchain. I'm a supporter for women empowerment, women in tech. I'm very happy that I have three kids, and I'm happily married. I'm also, of course, happy that I have a lot of achievements in the space. And I'm also very happy to continue building what we are building right now, and to continue advocate for women and for blockchain in general. So that's a very motherly or motherhood answer, but that's the best that I can think of right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gail, for sharing that. No, I think it's very. Thank you for sharing with us your vulnerability, and we appreciate that. And all of us are all, we're daughters or sons at one point, and maybe most of us here, or some of us here, are mothers or fathers. No, so it's very touching what you said, and to be able to see the positivity out of that, and yun nga, no, and it's amazing to see the grit that you have to be able to get to where you are now. So actually, if I were to describe everything that you shared, it's very inspiring. No, so thanks a lot for that. How about you, Mark? What would you say? What would be something that you'd learn from, and what would be something that you're most proud of?
For me, I'm happy that I made mistakes early on, especially in trying in getting my feet wet in crypto. When I was trying to get my first NFT, getting rug pulled, investing in DeFi protocols that that turned out to be rug pulls as well. Because I think I was able to understand more the pain points, or how what a user thinks or needs to be able to enjoy or have a safe crypto journey. So I think those experiences were really of a big help, especially right now. I'm able to apply it in my work, and I think something that I'm proud of is for trying to making that jump from being a soap and laundry salesman to to getting into Web3, because I think I followed the advice of my mentor to look for the bits and not the atoms. So it's very amazing how businesses or companies in Web3 are able to scale very quickly versus a typical business that deals with logistics. Um, that's why we called it atoms, and really, really excited and proud to be able to solve some of these problems and help make the Web3 experience better, especially in the position that I'm in right now. Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for sharing, Mark. Actually, that's exactly what you said, no? Atoms to bits. That's exactly what my friend Nix told me. Sometimes it's September of 2021, and parang shifting from atoms to bits. And I remember, inggit ako. Sabi ko, oh my gosh, I really want to be like that, less headache. I mean, not headache, less. less inventory, you can work with leaner teams and move faster. So I remember thinking that, and yeah, maybe that's why I'm here now. I was remember thinking that, oh my gosh, must be so nice, no, to be able to be so agile and to be able to have probably scale faster as well. Okay. So what I'll do, maybe I'll have we will be announcing before I announce the winners. Maybe I'd like to ask all our speakers to share what they would like to promote, maybe something that they are, or invite people to, if you have any event or anything you'd like to promote or talk about, what you're currently working on, so that we'll all, maybe if we can support you, or we can all join you in what you're doing. Paul, you wanna go ahead?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you, Sherry, and Scarlet Box for having giving us opportunity to share our story here. Yeah, so for me, it's so Chain is launching products and companies as well under our arm. So I think Elle is here. So Sovox Labs, yeah, just want to shout out because they did a good job in terms of partnering with Enderon. So Vox Labs is really like doubling down in terms of, as I mentioned, education is still the key. So that's why we're pushing them to really partner with schools to have a metaverse Web3 courses. Vandy is here. So Vandy is has a new company under Chain. It's called Itsy Bitsy. So it's an NFT agency to close the loop in terms of some other companies that consulting Chain, and we don't want to also. Lika is an NFT marketplace, so in terms of consulting and doing launchpad, so Vandy is leading it now with Itsy Bitsy. So well, Angelica is here, our art director in Likha. So there's a lot of launch that will happen for each company under Bayani Chain, and I don't want to to what do you call that, parang sabihin mo na lahat because baka magalit sila sa akin. And of course, Mark, we're working with Mark. I think publicly ano na naman yan, nasabi na. And yeah, and Bitpinas also, thank you for the article. Shout out to Sma, to Jerome, and to all people that are actually we're doing also something with Jerome. So yeah, so thank you guys.
Okay, thanks for sharing, Paul. So we'll, yeah, keep us posted so we can all support you. How about you, Gail? What would you like to share or invite or
Yeah.
talk to us about? Yeah.
Okay. So, Paul, you failed to mention our project. So we have a
Oh,
unique
sorry.
we
Yeah.
have a unique NFT collection. It's called Humanility from Street to School. It is the one of a kind NFT art in Asia. So guys, after buying the Larry Alcala NFT, please also buy the NFT of our street children. It is on the Likha platform, and each art piece is unique, and it will help our 40 street children in Bugos City, Cebu for their education fund. Also, shout out to Isma. Hi, Isma. Thank you for inviting me to Bicol Blockchain Conference. And if you need anyone, or if you need a speaker or like a women empowerment talk or women in tech talk or whatever, you can invite me. I am on LinkedIn, Gail Conception Cruz Macapagal, and I'm on Instagram, Gail Cruz Macapagal. So yeah, as we can all see, no, Paul is really, and their company Bayani Chain, Likha, they're really helping everyone. So we all have a connection to each other, and maybe it's time for all of us also to talk and sit down and align our goals. Paul, Mark, and
Thank you, Miss Gail.
Sherry.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you,
Yeah.
everyone.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, Gail. And yeah, thanks for sharing with us all the projects. Well, so many projects happening. How about you, Mark? What would you like to invite people to and share?
Mhm. So, but first of all, thank you as well, Scarlet Box team, Sherry, for inviting me for today's spaces. And for me, I think as we all know, during the last Web3 festival and the Philippine Blockchain Week, that G Crypto is coming soon. So I'm inviting you to, guys, for those who don't have Gcash yet, to download the Gcash app and stay tuned. We'll be releasing exciting comms soon regarding our projects. And yeah, we're working currently with ScarletBox, Lika. And for those interested to partner, please feel free to reach out because we're really interested in your stories and how you guys have your personal goals as well in trying to contribute to the community. And we would like to work with you guys in any way. So, yep, that's all. Thank you.
Okay.
Shiri,
Thank you so much.
Shiri,
Yeah,
one more
Gail,
thing.
go
If
ahead.
I'd just like to
Yeah.
also thank Bitpinas. Bitpinas, you're here. Remember back in 2018, konti lang yung mga na companies na feature sa Bitpinas, but now talagang everyone wants to be in Bitpinas. I'm very proud to have been part of the journey for Bitpinas because I was also a contributor in their early days. So Bitpinas, thank you so much for all your support in this space. And to everyone that are here tonight, thank you, Scarlet Box. Thank you for inviting, Shari. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, no, thank you all. And yeah, exciting. So we shared with you many alphas tonight in terms of a lot of the projects that's coming up. For us personally, Scarlet Box, we're excited to have Larry Alcala touch the lives of more people, especially not only the generation that grew up with him, but also the younger generations that should know about his work. He's really an amazing person has a lot of who adds a lot of wit and humor to his work na for those who grew up with him and I'm one of them, parang every Sunday I remember you run and naghahabulan kayo to get the Sunday magazine and look at the back of the magazine to encircle and look for his face, no? And dapat pa nga you shouldn't encircle it kasi makikita na ng iba, no? So it's and then it's always funny, so he brings a lot of smile, no, and laughter to the Filipinos. So it's very important that we have the younger generation also know about his legacy.
Agree.
And
And Shari,
yeah,
can I share a
yes, go ahead.
personal experience about Larry Alcala?
Oh,
So,
sige,
so
game.
I've been saying, no, now we were in Twitch growing up. So, actually, meron kaming stall ng newspaper, magazines, and song hits and comics when I was younger.
Wow, song
Along the
hits.
Pitan.
Okay.
Along the Pitan, you would see me
Okay.
selling. Ako yung bantay sa stall ng mga newspaper and everything. And I would really, really wait for a Sunday slice of life to encircle or look for Larry Alcala. So very very nice that we are promoting him so that the youth can also have that excitement that we had because you also shared, Sherry, di ba, na excited kayo. So it's good times talaga if you try to look for the Larry Alcala face and slice of life. So that's my personal experience.
Nice. Thanks for sharing. And in kami naman, for Scarlet Box, we're going to make it fun. Like there are some rares. You will find our partner projects. We have our partner projects that will comprise as the rares, and it's going to be and then we have Diamond. Now, so our partner projects, I'd like to mention them, is Board Punks of Society, Distort Monsters, Black Eyed Freaks, Bjorn Calleja, and Mustachio. So, hi, Isma, by Only. So, those are our, treasured partner projects. And the Larry Alcala characters that will have any of these images will become rares. And also, the ones that will have Larry Alcala's profile picture will become like a diamond rare, no, so exciting yan so we don't know which one we get, no, so super, it's going to be a lot of fun. And to be able to own a piece of pop culture would be something that's good in terms of promoting the Philippine legacy, no, of our national treasures. So at saka before that, did you know that Larry Alcala has created over 500 characters across 20 comic strips, including Asyong Aksaya, Siopaw Man, no, at the time, hindi ko rin alam, sa kanya rin pala yun. no? So, and then he became our national artist in 2018. Recently lang din, no? So, okay. So, we are here now. Drum roll. So we have a beautiful painting that was a watercolor painting that was done by Toym Imao, and he did it. And the image is Sari Manok. No, and when he talks about it, because his father Abdul Mari Imao, our first Moro national artist, he's a very he has a lot of Sari Manoks as a lot of his uh, like images for a lot of his paintings, no? And Toym describes it as like the American phoenix, yung phoenix rising, we rise from the ashes. No, yun ang maganda. Parang yun yung version natin, the Filipino version of the phoenix, which is the sari manok, no, rising from the ashes. And and to see, rising from difficulties and grit. And, naman the Filipinos, parang one of the more resilient cultures and races, no? Pagka bumabaha na and baha na, people, you can see outside, kids are still playing, there's still smiles in people's faces, no? So talagang what a very resilient nation. So ito, no, embodied by Sari Manok. So that is what he did a beautiful watercolor painting of it, and I believe it's I'm not sure if it's 18 by 21 inches, but it's framed already, no? So we have it already ready to be shipped out to the winner. So we already have our pinwheel. Maraming nag-join ng ating pinwheel, and the winner has to be the winner has to be here. So let's see. I hope the winner is here. The winner of the Sari Manok painting is Jaey. Are you here, Jay? Oh, there. Okay, there. So congratulations, Jay, and congratulations also for being here. Kasi even if you did all the steps, but you were not here tonight, the person wouldn't have been able to join. But because you're here tonight and you did all the steps, congratulations. You take home a beautiful watercolor painting of Toyn Imao. Siguro, to close the space, maybe let's have maybe one or two sentence of last words or any insights or reminders from our three speakers. Paul, you want to say your like good night and reminders for all of us.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you for having me again, Shari. So yeah, let's keep building, and the technology is growing so fast. I'm inviting you also not only to focus on blockchain but what is coming. Uh, I'm not a fan of metaverse, admittedly, but it's not the metaverse that we need to really in a way what they call that focus on, but really the in real life use cases of the technology that's having right now, the disruption of AI, how digital asset will be truly secured through blockchain, etc. But yeah, I just want to really say that NFT blockchain in general is not it's not for gaming alone, since we have that stigma, but we will see a lot of use cases that we can say that okay, blockchain technology is here to stay. Thank you. Good night, guys.
Good night. Thanks, Paul. How about Gail? Last words?
Yes, thank you for the invite again, Cherie. Thank you to everyone that are here tonight. I would like to acknowledge the Vice President Internal of the Philippine Blockchain Council, Cheska. Hi, Cheska. Thank you for
Hi,
listening.
Cheska.
Thank you for listening tonight. And again, if you need any speaker for women empowerment and women in tech, please just reach out to me. I call myself Babaeng Kalad Karen. You can always invite me for anything. I even went to Bicol for the Bicol Blockchain Conference to support Isma and his team, and mainly because I'm also Bicolana. So thank you, everyone, and I hope to interact with you again. Invite me again, Cherie, if you have any other Twitter Spaces for women naman. So this has been fun. Thank you very much, everyone.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Gail. And Mark, last words?
For me, thank you again, Sherry, for having me, and also thank you to everyone for listening in. For me, last words maybe try to focus on the principles or what the technology can be used for, and you, or try to learn as much on about the technology, and I think it will help guide you on the benefits and use cases, and that will eventually lead to why you will be invested in a certain project or a certain what do you call this, certain crypto. So for me, learning more about the background, try to be more interested and trying to connect it to how it can personally or you think can help. So it will determine the value of the project. Yep. Good. So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mark. And for me, last words is positivity. I got that from tonight, despite what's happening around. I've heard a lot of very positive stories and a lot of things of how the blockchain and crypto has helped people and businesses. And also, it pays to be early. We're all in the early stage of this phase, and it's great that all of us are here together. No, it does pay to be early. So, other than that, I'd like to wish all of you good night. Thank you so much for joining us. And till the next time, I appreciate it. And I really learned a lot. No, I really learned a lot tonight from all our speakers. So, thank you, everyone. Good night and have a good evening.